What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon 466 Cards, and today we're going to talk about Elly De La Cruz, the big, hot phenom of the Cincinnati Reds, and right now of the hobby. His cards are on fire. And I'm here to tell you that's not going to last. Not just about the cards, but about how hot he's been playing. And I'm going to go dig deep into the stats to show you why. You might not know this, but once upon a time, I almost worked for the front office, or had an internship with the front office for a baseball team, which is a story I'll save for another day. But I do have a fair bit of knowledge about baseball, even though I have more or less died off as a fan in recent years. So I am on Elly De La Cruz's Fangraphs page, and you can see right now I am recording this on July 18th. See, he's batting .291. That's great. He is on base is 327. That's less great. His slugging is 468. That's fine. And you're like, okay, so he's doing great. Like, what's the problem? Like, he's doing fine for a rookie. He's 21 years old. He's hitting 290. Like, what's the problem here? Well, there's one number on this page, or two numbers on this page, that should scream, this isn't going to last. The first one is this 30%, 30.7% strikeout rate. That is way, way, way too high. That is not a sustainable number. The only people that can stay in the major leagues and hit and strike out 30% of the time are pure sluggers. We're talking 40 home run guys, that type of thing. The only reason why he's batting .291 is because his batting average on balls in play is .402 right now. That is not a sustainable number. Nobody has ever hit 400 on batting average on balls in play in their entire career. Around 300, a little bit, give or take a few points, is the average across the majors. 400 is just completely unsustainable. And so he's basically getting by on a little bit of his legs. He's fast, but luck. Luck is a big part of baseball that can oscillate from month to month, even year to year. But in the long run, it's going to bring it back down to earth, either both good or bad, right? But it's the 30% strikeout rate that is just not a good sign. You could see in the minors, in single A, double A, triple A, he's been in the high 20s to the low 30s, right? 30.7 now. The league average, again, I'm on Fangraphs here, but the league average right now for strikeout rates, you can see is here since 2002. The average is 22.5%, 23, 22 in that range, in the last, since 2018. It's been 22 to 23. He's at 30.7. He's at 30.7. So he is way higher than the average. And like I was saying before, the only people, and just on the batting average and balls of play thing, they don't have it here. Oh, here it is. You will see here, it's right around 300 every year, like clockwork. This number is around 300. He's at 400, right? He's at 402. He's at 402. Not sustainable long term. And like I said, the only people that can strike out 30% of the time and still be stars are people like Aaron Judge, pure sluggers. He struck out in his entire career. He struck out 29% of the time, but it's fine because he's hitting 60 home runs, 50 home runs, 40 home runs here. He's a slugger, and so he swings and whiffs, but when he hits, the ball goes far. That's not the case with Elly De La Cruz, right? It's only because he hits so many home runs that Aaron Judge can maintain this high batting average in the 280s, 290s, because so many balls, when he makes contact, the ball gets annihilated. That is not the case with Elly De La Cruz, as you're about to see here. So this was the standard page. I'm going to now scroll down a little bit to the batted ball page, which is equally important. So you can see here, these are the minor league numbers. First problem, fly balls being hit 15% of the time. That is unbelievably low. And I'm going to show you more data on that in a second. Ground ball rate, 58%. Unbelievably high. And I'm going to show you how high that actually is. Here is the average rates across baseball for all hitters. His ground ball rate is 58%. The average you can see here, it's been more or less 43%, 44% for the last 20 years. He's at 16% higher than that. That's not good. You don't want to hit the ball on the ground in baseball. His fly ball rate, you can see here, the average, since 2002, it's about 35, 37, 35, 36, 37. He's at 18. He's literally hitting fly balls at half the rate of the major league average, not even of star players. That is completely unsustainable. You can see here, fly ball rate. 15.6%. My apologies. So he's below half of the average fly ball rate, and he's at way more than the ground ball rate. So his ground ball rate is 58%. Like I was, wrong thing here. Like I was talking about before, his ground ball rate is 58%. Here we go. The average is 43, 44%. Brandon Webb, if you don't know baseball, was one of the great single ball pitchers. He wasn't, he didn't pitch long, but he won a Cy Young. He was a great ground ball pitcher because of his sinker ball. He got ground balls 64% of the time. Elly De La Cruz is basically almost hitting as many ground balls as Brandon Webb's got ground balls. Chad Bradford from Moneyball fame, another famous ground ball pitcher, because he literally threw sidearm, his ground ball rate was 64%. You can see here for his career, low 60s basically, right? But again, he's literally a ground ball pitcher. So Elly De La Cruz is hitting ground balls like he's getting pitched to by a ground ball pitcher every single time. Like, that's how bad his ground ball rate is. And it's not sustainable. And it just screams bad stats, bad approach, bad numbers. Can that improve? Can that improve over time? Yes. Do I think that'll improve significantly in the next, I'm going to say, rest of the season, 2-3 months? No, I do not. I do not at all. And so that is part of the problem. The other problem is on Elly's page here. He's hitting the ball hard 29% of the time. That is also below average, as you are about to see. The league average, if this thing will ever come out, my computer is being slow. The league average is something like 33, 34%. It's nowhere near 29%. It's a problem. Like, so to recap, when he's hitting the ball, when he gets up to the plate, he strikes out way more than the league average. Here we go. You can see here, hard hit rate, 32%, 30%, 32%. Elly is at 29%. He's below average for how hard he hits the ball. So to recap, he strikes out at a rate 30%. That is well above league average. Here we go. He strikes out at 30.7%, well above the league average. Again, can this improve next year? Can I improve it later in his career? Absolutely. But not a big turnaround should be expected in the next few months. The only reason why he's hitting 291 is because he's getting very lucky on balls in play. Scrolling down, when he does hit the ball, he doesn't hit the ball hard, and he hits the ball on the ground. He doesn't hit the ball in the air. There's no path, if this profile continues, of him maintaining this mystique, this hype that he's built up. It's all a mirage. Unless he changes his approach, improves how often he hits the ball, how hard he hits the ball, and where he hits the ball. That's a lot of things to change in the middle of his rookie season. It might change next year. It might change a couple years after. But right now, his approach is not sustainable long term, and it's going to lead to a crash in his performance, which is then going to lead to a crash in his sports cards. Lastly, one last thing I want to show you. Remember Julio Rodriguez? Remember him? Big hype around him, right? But now, this year, he's hitting 248. He's only hit 13 home runs. Not doing that great, right? Well, guess what? He only strikes out 25% of the time. He hits the ball harder than Elly De La Cruz. Look at this. Hits the ball hard 39% of the time. That's well above average. So he's actually crushing the ball. And he hits fly balls a lot more often than Elly De La Cruz. He's doing it a third of the time. Ground balls are only at 48%. And guess what? Because he doesn't have a 400 batting average on balls in play, which is more or less luck, he's having a mediocre season. 348 batting average, 312 on base, 404 slugging. And he has better peripheral stats in all the things I just talked about. Better strikeout rate, better hard hit rate, better better fly ball rate, and lower ground ball rate. All things across the board better than Elly De La Cruz, but having a worse season by the stats because he doesn't have incredibly good luck like Elly does. So that's why I think in the next couple of months, maybe even the next couple of weeks, reality is going to hit. Elly De La Cruz, his stats are going to start going down. As a result, his hype will fade away. His card prices are going to come crashing down. And a lot of people who bought Elly De La Cruz cards now will be left holding the bag because they see the flashy plays. They see him, stealing second, stealing third, stealing home, hitting for the cycle, hitting home runs. But you're also ignoring the 30% of the time that he strikes out. You're ignoring the, 50% of the time that he doesn't hit the ball hard, or you're ignoring the 60% of the time that hits the ball into the ground. And as a result, there's nothing but down. Nowhere to go but down for Elly De La Cruz cards. That's it. That's a video. Would love to hear your thoughts on this statistical breakdown of Elly De La Cruz's approach at the plate, basically. Not quite basketball talk, but something a little bit different that I thought I'd bring to the table. Would love to hear your comments. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think am I missing something here? Let me know. And if you like this video, subscribe and like. And thank you as always for listening and watching. And I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.